What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously once again. I am back for my Week 4 college football predictions. Now, Week 3 is in the books, and we're now into Week 4 of the college football season. So I'm very excited to do these predictions for you guys, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into Week 4 after a very improving Week 3, we went 6-4. So overall record coming in is 17-13. So our losing streak is over, and we're back to a winning record. So I'm very happy on that. So hopefully in this video, we will continue the winning ways. We're on a 1-week winning streak. Hopefully in this video, we'll make it 2. Hopefully. Now, this is the first of 3 big videos that will be up on the channel today. So hopefully you guys will be able to watch all 3 of these videos. Now, right after this video, I'll have my official New Japan Pro Wrestling's Destruction in Kobe 2018 predictions, which we will see Hiroshi Tanahashi defend his G1 Climax briefcase against Kazuchika Okada. So I'll have my official Destruction in Kobe predictions right after this video, and then my Week 3 NFL predictions to finish up tonight. So remember, 3 big videos will be up on the channel today, so hopefully you guys will be able to watch all 3. As always, show your support on those videos by watching them, super kicking those like buttons, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your college football team in the comments section down below. Now, if this is your first time watching my channel, as a first time viewer, and this is your first video, boy, if you're going if you're a huge college football fan like myself, and you're ready for Week 4 of the college football season. Welcome to the Dangerous Lines. I'm JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is just 2. Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first matchup, it is a Big Ten West rivalry showdown featuring the Wisconsin Badgers heading to Iowa City to face the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, this is the 92nd meeting between Wisconsin and Iowa. Wisconsin leads the all-time series 46-43-2. Wisconsin has won the last 2 meetings, and Iowa is looking to beat Wisconsin for the first time in 3 years. Now, both teams had very different Week 3s. Wisconsin losing at home to BYU, the first big upset of Week 3, and Iowa defeating Northern Iowa. Cupcake. Now, this game for me is huge for Iowa, because if Iowa can knock off Wisconsin, they will be a legit threat in the Big Ten West, because they won't be known as just an 8-5 team. They will be a team that will be legit a threat. But Wisconsin is just coming off their loss to BYU at home at Madison. It's not going to be pretty. This game is not going to be pretty for sure, because Wisconsin's defense is good. Their offense is pretty solid, and they have one of the best running backs in the game, and Jonathan Taylor, one of the guys I think could win the Heisman Trophy this year. So, coming from me in this Big Ten rivalry showdown, I know my boy, College Football Dojo, huge Iowa Hawkeyes fan, is going to be picking his Hawkeyes to win, so I'm going to take the Wisconsin Badgers to defeat the Iowa Hawkeyes in a close defensive battle. And now the next matchup. It is a SEC West rivalry showdown featuring the Texas A&M Aggies heading to Tuscaloosa to face the #1 team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, this is the 11th meeting between Alabama and Texas A&M. Bama leads the all-time series 8-2. Bama has won the last 5 meetings against Texas A&M, and A&M is looking to beat Alabama for the first time since 2012. And I think that was the Johnny Manziel year. Now, both teams are coming off wins in Week 3, Texas A&M over Louisiana Monroe, Cupcake, and Alabama defeating Ole Miss. But this is a huge matchup for Jimbo Fisher. This is his first legit, real test in his first year at College Station. If he can knock off the #1 team in the world in Alabama at Tuscaloosa, Jimbo Fisher is going to be made in Texas A&M. So, coming from me in this SEC West showdown, can Texas A&M keep up with this Alabama Crimson Tide team? That's the biggest question, just like last week. I just don't see it. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Alabama Crimson Tide to defeat the Texas A&M Aggies. And now the next matchup. It is another SEC West rivalry showdown featuring the Auburn Tigers heading to Fayetteville to face the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, this is the 27th meeting between Auburn and the Hogs. Auburn leads the all-time series 15-11-1. Auburn has won the last 2 meetings against Arkansas, and the Hogs are looking to beat the Auburn Tigers for the first time in 3 years. Now, both teams are coming off losses in Week 3. Auburn losing to LSU by a last-second field goal at home was another big upset in Week 3. and Arkansas losing to North Texas, of all teams, the mean green team, the mean green of North Texas. Now, this is another big-time matchup, especially in the SEC West, with Alabama still running the show, LSU right up there, Auburn and Arkansas are looking to just stay right up there in contention to maybe knock one of those teams out, knock one of those teams off the pedestal. So, coming from me in this SEC West rivalry showdown, Auburn let me down definitely in week 3. That is for sure. Auburn let me down. But Arkansas losing to North Texas at home, not good. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Auburn Tigers to defeat the Arkansas Razorbacks. And now the next matchup. It is a huge Big 12 showdown featuring the TCU Horned Frogs heading to Austin to face the Texas Longhorns. Now this is the 89th meeting between TCU and Texas. The Longhorns lead the all-time series 62-25-1. TCU has won the last 4 meetings against the Longhorns, and the Longhorns are looking to beat the TCU Horned Frogs for the first time since 2013. Now, both teams are coming out very different week 3 results. TCU losing to Ohio State on Saturday and Texas defeating USC for the first time since 2006 on Saturday. So this is a big-time matchup, especially in the Big 12, with my Oklahoma Sooners being the best team in the conference and Oklahoma State being right next to them. This matchup will really tell us who's going to be the third team that could be in line to maybe be one of those top 3 teams out of the Big 12. So coming from me in this Big 12 showdown, knowing the Big 12, I've always said it, Big 12 is all offense, no defense. So I'm going to go with the TCU Horned Frogs to rebound and bounce back and defeat the Texas Longhorns in a close showdown. And now the next matchup is an SEC East rivalry showdown featuring the Florida Gators heading to Knoxville to face the Tennessee Volunteers. Now this is the 48th meeting between the Gators and the Volunteers. The Gators lead the all-time series 27-20. The Gators won the last meeting last year, and the Volunteers are looking to defeat the Gators for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off wins in week 3. Florida coming off a win over Colorado State, and Tennessee coming off a win over Texas El Paso. But this is a big game for Dan Mullen, first-year coach at Florida, because after that loss to Kentucky, a team that that Florida hadn't lost to since 1986, to lose to Kentucky, definitely are putting a lot of hate on Dan Mullen right now, because if he couldn't even beat their longtime rival Kentucky, does Dan Mullen have a chance against Tennessee? Now, you know how Florida sports teams are. You have to win. And Dan Mullen at 2-1, but losing to Kentucky definitely hurt his chances of staying there long. But this is a big opportunity for him, just like with Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. This is a huge game for Dan Mullen to get him back on the winning track. So coming from me in this SEC East showdown, man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the Florida Gators to defeat the Tennessee Volunteers. Chomp, chomp. And now the next matchup. It is a SEC rivalry showdown featuring the Mississippi State Bulldogs heading to Kentucky to face the Kentucky Wildcats. Now this is the 46th meeting between Kentucky and Mississippi State. Mississippi State leads the all-time series 23-22. The Bulldogs won the last meeting against Kentucky last year, and Kentucky's looking to beat Mississippi State for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off wins in week 3. Mississippi State over Louisiana, cupcake, and Kentucky win over Murray State, cupcake. But this is a big-time matchup, especially in the SEC Conference, because Mississippi State being where Bama is could definitely get a big win to maybe be that team to knock off the #1 team in the nation. And then you have Kentucky in the East, could be the team that could knock off Georgia from the SEC top echelons. So coming from me in this SEC rivalry showdown, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the Mississippi State Bulldogs to defeat the Kentucky Wildcats in a close match. And now the next matchup. It is the battle for the old brass spittoon in the Big Ten East between the Michigan State Spartans heading to Indiana to face the Indiana Hoosiers. Now, this is the 65th meeting between Michigan State and Indiana. Sparty leads the old-time series 46-16-2. Sparty has won the last meeting against Indiana last year, and the Hoosiers are looking to beat Michigan for the first time in 2 years. Now, Michigan State's coming off a bye in Week 3 after their loss in Week 2 to Arizona State on the road. So they're looking to be refreshed. They're looking to rebound and get back on the winning track. Then on the other side, you have the Indiana Hoosiers coming off a win over David Letterman's alma mater, Ball State, a cupcake team. But this is a big-time matchup for Indiana, because if they can win this game, they'll be right up there with Ohio State, with Michigan, with Penn State as one of those top teams that could win the Big Ten East. So coming from me in this Big Ten East rivalry showdown and the battle for the old brass spittoon, man, I don't know. This one's tricky, because Michigan State definitely let me down in against Arizona State. They definitely let me down in Week 2. So it's hard to trust them for sure. So coming from me, I just got a funny feeling Sparty's going to get it done here. So I'm going to take the Michigan State Spartans to defeat the Indiana Hoosiers. And now the next matchup. It is an ACC rivalry showdown featuring the Clemson Tigers heading to Georgia Tech to face the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, this is the 84th meeting between Georgia Tech and Clemson. Georgia Tech leads the all-time series 51-30-2. But Clemson has won the last 5 meetings against Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech is looking to defeat Clemson for the first time since 2014. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 3s. Clemson defeating Georgia Southern in a blowout because they are a cupcake team, and Georgia Tech losing to Pittsburgh on Saturdays. So this is a big-time matchup, especially in the ACC. Clemson is really the best team in the ACC Atlantic, and Georgia Tech is just looking to get a huge upset. We already saw an upset in Week 3 with Syracuse defeating Florida State. So this ACC conference has got a few upsets in their bag of tricks. So coming from me in this ACC rivalry showdown, man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the Clemson Tigers to defeat the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And now the next matchup. It is another huge Big 12 rivalry showdown featuring the Texas Tech Red Raiders heading to Stillwater, Oklahoma to face the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, this is the 46th meeting between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. The series is tied 21-3. So this is the rubber matchup. Now, Oklahoma State has won the last 9 meetings against Texas Tech, and Texas Tech is looking to defeat Oklahoma State for the first time since 2008. Now, both teams are coming off wins in Week 3. Texas Tech in a shootout win over Houston, where their quarterback Bowman had over 605 total yards and 5 touchdowns. And Oklahoma State's coming off beating my Boise State Broncos. Now, this game is big, especially, like I said, in the Big 12 Conference. With Oklahoma getting better and better each week, you got TCU looking to get rebounds. Oklahoma State is really the second best team in that conference. I'll say that right now, with Mike Gundy running the show, mullet and all. But Texas Tech surprised a lot of people. I didn't expect them to put up 60-plus points against Houston. Like I said, Big 12 conference, all offense, no defense. But their quarterback, 605 yards and 5 touchdowns. And they put up 60 on Houston. Going to be, and Cliff Kingsbury, old handsome one himself, in Texas Tech, looking to have another big win here. So coming from me in this Big 12 showdown, oh man, this one's going to be tough. Man, this one's tough. I'm going to go, and I may get this one wrong, but I'm going to go with the Oklahoma State Cowboys to defeat the Texas Tech Red Raiders in a shootout. And now the next matchup. It is a huge Big Ten Conference battle featuring the Nebraska Cornhuskers heading to the Big House to face the Michigan Wolverines. Now, this is the 10th meeting between Nebraska and Michigan. The series is tied 4-1. So this is the rubber match. Now, Nebraska has beaten Michigan the last 2 meetings against each other, and Michigan's looking to defeat Nebraska for the first time since 2011. Now, both teams are coming off very different week 3s. Nebraska coming off their upset loss to Troy at home, and they're starting the season off 0-2 for the first time since 1957. And Michigan's coming off a big win over a very good SMU team. So now, starting off with Nebraska, what can you say? I mean, this is Scott Frost's first year, and he's already making history in the wrong way. They're 0-2 for the first time since 1957. I mean, and they're losing to Troy at home in Lincoln. Like I said, Scott Frost is not looking good in his first year in Lincoln, and he needs a big win here just to save face. Then on the other side, you have the Michigan Wolverines coming off a big win, like I said, over SMU, and they have definitely rebounded after that loss to Notre Dame in week 1, and they have gotten big wins over a couple cupcake opponents. But this is a big game for Michigan and a big game for Jim Harbaugh, because this is another game that he has to win. Because if he doesn't win, that grave that is his job is getting deeper and deeper, and that seat he's sitting on is going to get hotter and hotter. So coming from me in this Big Ten rivalry to break this tie between these two, being it's in the big house and Michigan rarely loses there, I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines to defeat the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And now the final matchup in week 4, and this is where College Game Day is going to be at this weekend. This is a Pac-12 rivalry showdown featuring the Stanford Cardinals heading to Eugene to face the Oregon Ducks. Now, this is the 82nd meeting between Stanford and Oregon. Stanford leads the all-time series 48-32-1. Stanford has won the last 2 meetings against Oregon, and Oregon is looking to defeat Stanford for the first time in 3 years. Now, this is a huge matchup, especially in the Pac-12 North. Both teams are coming in undefeated after wins over a couple cupcake teams, but this is a big game, especially in the North, because with Washington struggling, this is one of these two teams is going to be the top team in the Pac-12 North. And with Bryce Love, another running back that could win the Heisman this year, could be having a huge monster game. I don't know if he played against UC Davis, but if he puts up over 100 yards or 200 or 300, he's going to be impossible to stop. And I wouldn't be surprised he's one of the 2 running backs that will be in the Heisman Trophy award in that category for sure. So coming from me in this final matchup of week 4, this one's going to be tough, especially for Lee Corso, and of course out of the headgear. He's been fond of the Ducks. He's picked them a couple times. Coming from me, Corso may be picking Oregon here, but I'm going to go with the Stanford Cardinals to defeat the Oregon Ducks. And those are my Week 4 college football predictions. I want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Comment below, who do you have winning in Week 4 of the college football season? Let me know who you have. Do you see any upsets happening? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, represent your team in the comment section. If you're a college football fan, let's have a conversation about them. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to me, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Now, before you guys go, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with friends, of course, super kick! That like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous Alliance, and I will see you guys later today for my New Japan Pro Wrestling's Destruction in Kobe 2018 predictions. Tanahashi Okada 13. Later days, guys, and peace.